All right, please be seated. First, we have the approval of the agenda. I'm not sure if there's any items that my fellow board members would like to adjust, make modifications to. We only have one item on consent, so if there's anything, please say so now. Otherwise, I will entertain a motion to leave the agenda as is.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Could you say it on the mic, sir?
I have a microphone.
Yeah.
I approve.
Get it together. Yeah, there we go.
Okay.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Do we have a second?
Second.
First and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the approval of the agenda passes. Next, we have a special presentation and report, a discussion on the requested sale of Lake Park CRA property located at 800 Park Avenue. And we have on the microphone our CRA administrator, Miss Allison, all about justice.
Good evening, board members. Allison Justice, CRA Administrator. You have me for a little bit tonight, so we're going to discuss the building at 800 Park Avenue. As you all know, that is currently the recreation building. It houses both my office, the CRA office, as well as the recreation supervisor's office. And during the summer, there's 8 weeks of summer camp that are held within that building. It holds about 20 kids for summer camp. So it's been various uses over the years. The building was purchased in 2009 for $293,000. It was purchased through when the city undertook, or town undertook, a revenue bond that the CRA paid back over the years with the town. So that has been paid off, the bond for that, the purchase of that building. So there's no restrictions on it. Several months ago, we had received an unsolicited proposal to purchase the building. No details about the purchase terms or anything, just that there was interest. We brought it to this board and asked for your all's direction on whether you were interested in considering the sale of this building. And we were asked to go back and kind of look at some logistics on what it would take, what we would have to do if we considered the sale of the building. So in your agenda request form, I don't have a presentation, but in your agenda request form, I outlined the different options for the town if we do decide, if you all decide to sell the building. We did get 2 appraisals on it, one for $575,000, one for $600,000. The current uses are the CRA office, as I mentioned, recreation supervisor. We have video and surveillance equipment in the building. We have Palm Beach County's fiber optic service that is in the building. And then again, the summer camp that holds 20 students and 4 camp counselors for 8 weeks from June to August. So there are some constraints currently. We have 2 different departments that are in there. There's no conference space or really any office space. We've kind of just mock separated the space. Starting Monday, the camp will displace the CRA office for the 8 weeks, and it limits the camp operations because of the capacity of the building and the 1 restroom on how many children and how many people can be in the building at the same time. So from a CRA perspective, it's not the highest and best use on Park Avenue. It's not active. There's no foot traffic. There's no traffic in the evenings at the building. So from a redevelopment perspective, there is a better use. Whether this is the right time to look at those options or not, that is the board's decision, but that's something to consider as well. So we've looked at where the offices could relocate. We've got some options again laid out in there. I think the recreation supervisor outlined potentially moving to Kelsey Park to the pro shop. We need to add a restroom for about $4,000 to $8,000 to add a restroom in Kelsey Park. He's offered up some solutions for camp that you might want to review. Again, there's pros and challenges to each of these options. And the CRA has also looked at space to lease. Space in the CRA is anywhere from $15 to $25 a square foot. So we'd need about 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. So we're looking at approximately, $37,000 a year, probably for a lease for the CRA. Or if we find a property to purchase for the CRA, we would be open to purchasing another property for an investment opportunity for the CRA as well. So I'm happy to go over, kind of everything that was outlined in the agenda if you'd like, but really just wanted you all to discuss if it was an option, outside of the solicited proposal, what the options would be if you decide to move forward. We would put out a notice of disposal for 30 days. I would suggest we do it as more of a bid process because I know we do have other interest in the building, not just the unsolicited proposal. So I will put together a formal bid that outlines the types of uses that we'd be looking for. This isn't about making money on the CRA space. It's about getting the right use in that building that will activate Park Avenue. So that would kind of be the next steps if you choose, as you discuss, to move forward.
All set?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you for that. Just one quick question. That $293,000 back in 2009, that's the amount to the T that was bonded, correct?
Yes.
And that was what we had paid off several years back, which allowed us to have the building for any use, which at the time when it was bonded, it was exclusively for public use.
It was exclusive for public use, correct.
Okay, so clearly, looking at it in that perspective to the appraisals, there's clearly a benefit, a net positive, if we were to go ahead and proceed with the possibility of selling that building. You said that as far as the recreation supervisor, I hope I'm saying his name right, recreation staff, I should say, there we going to Kelsey Park into one of the pavilions there?
Into the pro shop, which would need to add an ADA restroom at a cost of about, estimated to be about $6,000 to $8,000. So we spoke with the special projects managers on what the cost would be to do.
And what would be, if we went in this direction, what would be an estimated timetable, possibly, roughly?
I think that you would probably need to plan for an estimated timetable to dispose.
Yeah, well, not just to dispose, but just looking at that segment for the recreation staff to go and get the bathroom done.
Well, I would assume it would take several months for them to construct a bathroom. It would also take, obviously, we have to wait till the end of summer to even, we have to put out a bid, we have to negotiate.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
That'll take several months.
Okay, and then, which actually wouldn't be so bad because then we also have a lot of activities. Hey, thank you for that.
Yeah.
We also have a lot of activities going on that are coming up with the camp,
Right.
and then as well as stuff that, you have the tennis center, you have the pickleball area there, and having someone that would be there would be beneficial to that as well.
Yeah. It is one of the pros, obviously, to him moving there is some more eyes on the park and actually being in the park. But,
Especially with right now, Burt Bostrom is still under its project it's in its twilight stage of the project that's going on there with the chambers. So
yes.
that gives it more attention to Kelsey, which is a good thing. And then for you and your staff, you guys would have to just relocate, find a new place to house, and the possibilities are rent or find a spot.
Or purchase, yes.
Find purchase, okay. Mm-hmm. Just to recap it and summarize it. Any of my board members? Board Member Linden.
A couple questions for you. I'm not completely sold on the idea of getting rid of the 800 building. It's in the CRA, and I think the CRA headquarters, if you would, needs to be in the CRA. That being said and done, for what we're selling it for, or potentially selling it for, will that money stay with us if we do find a building or location in the CRA to offset the cost of rent, remodeling, and so forth? Or what happens to that money?
Yes, that would go back into CRA revenue, so it would either be put towards a project or towards rent or purchase of another facility, and it would only be in the CRA. I would not recommend, and I would look for a location for the CRA that was outside of the CRA. We should certainly be housed in the CRA.
Okay, the reason I hesitate, it's like moving out of your house and having nowhere to go. That doesn't make good logical sense to me. Have you explored any properties in the CRA that may be conducive to what you would like, square footage-wise and so forth?
Yes, there are several spaces. There is a bay for sale on 10th Street in Brannett Square for about $375,000. It's about 1,200 square feet. That's for sale. That's a condoed unit. I've looked at several locations for rents around the same size. Like I said, they're about 25. I don't know if they're the perfect spaces. I have not actually gone and toured them, but I have found several spaces within the CRA. So,
Oh, no, Richard, was you going to interject?
Well, what I was going to say was any sale would be subsequent only, or it would be contingent on us having a space that worked for us. So we certainly wouldn't, sell until we knew exactly where we were going to.
Okay, so we premature with this moving forward until we do find something and look at it? Again, I don't want to be out on the street.
I think more or less what they're looking for is just for us to give them assertiveness to go ahead and proceed.
Yeah, the direction to go
The
forward.
direction to go forward.
We would run them both concurrent.
Right.
Go ahead, Michael.
Vice Chair.
Good evening. I think I'm leaning more towards Commissioner Linden here. Is what we would like to know if before. So we're moving forward. We say we're moving forward, and making sure we have a place. It's like he said. You don't want to sell your home and not have anywhere to go. We definitely don't want to put the cost on the residents or anybody else of finding a place to go until we get somewhere to go. So, in genuine, I'm thinking you're saying that let's see a plan
Yep.
of going forward, like we can go forward, like maybe seeing a plan of we want I think you said the bakery for this much, and if we're going to lease it, I prefer buying, but if we can afford to lease it, we can lease it.
I think before anything is decided, it would have to come before us.
it is, and I certainly understand your comments. I guess I would say to that is this will take, again, this will be a 6-month process. So I can't really find anything right now because, especially if we end up leasing, because by the time we actually, get somebody that we negotiate for the sale of this, it's going to be several months down the road. But I certainly understand your comments, so thank you.
And,
So,
sorry.
no.
And the likelihood of someone carrying or holding that property for that long, that's why we would run it concurrent.
Yeah.
And at the very worst, CRA could be housed here in the ballroom or somewhere within Town Hall until something is secured. But we anticipate being able to find something and, before we sell. And that can always be contingent in the sale too.
I think by what you're stating, you gentlemen would like there to be something ready to go almost before the sale, correct?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, I can't speak for Commissioner Hensley, but it sounds like we're on the same page. Yeah, and I'm very opposed to renting. In today's market, when you rent, I've seen businesses in the CRA leave because the rent was doubled. And we're a government entity, and there may be no way of stopping that. So I'm thinking that we're going to have $600,000 to spend. I want to purchase versus rent. That would be my preference. As far as summer camp goes, I've always been a proponent of summer camp being in the park. Tennis courts are great. The little pavilion's perfect. The little office is great. So if we had to move summer camp quickly, that's a no-brainer. And I just think that's ideal, especially for the kids who get very restless very quickly. And when I read through there, some of the minor, I'll call them minor changes, could be done fairly economically. So while I would vote to move this forward, I would, again, like to be able to find more places to go before I put my stamp of approval on. I know that they'll go concurrently, but I was under the impression from someone that we had a potential buyer for the 800, is that correct?
We had an unsolicited proposal offering to purchase.
Okay, so we do have an unsolicited offer, so they're probably ready to go, all right? So it's all be held up on us.
Yeah.
What's the address of that property you said that was possibly for sale?
It's on 10th Street. It's the, I'd love to
That's
tell you.
okay,
It's
if you don't have it now.
11 something to
You don't
10th
have it,
Street. Yeah,
that's fine,
yeah.
we can get
No,
it
I don't
later.
have it.
Okay,
Yeah.
1001 West Jasmine is the official address.
thank you.
Nadia.
All right.
Board Member O'Rourke,
Thanks.
thank you.
I was on this board when, and I think, John, you were there too?
Yeah, I was here, yeah.
And we were very proud of the fact that we took this building out of debt.
Yes, I was with you as
And,
well.
and I'm kind of baffled right now why this is necessary. Do we need the money for the CRA?
It's not about the money. It's only about the redevelopment of Park Avenue.
But it would seem to me that after the discussion we had on Monday, moving you when you say, oh, it'll take a while, 6 months. 6 months compared to what's going to happen in our downtown area is lightning fast. I don't get it. So can you explain that to me?
Explain.
Why we have to move on something even if we were to approve this tonight?
We certainly don't have to. We are required to address the unsolicited proposal. So as this board, it's a decision to, yes, we're interested in exploring an offer to sell, or no, we were going to keep it as the offices as we are. I will say, if we keep it, there are some things that need to change. I have additional staff that's coming in. It doesn't function quite as the office space, so there are.
But the building itself, first of all, the building itself is probably one of the nicest buildings on Park Avenue.
No doubt.
Certainly a lot nicer than what people claim is a historic building. I think investing into the building to make it the CRA building would be a better usage of the building instead of putting a really nice building off to somebody else who's I don't know what their plans are with it, but it seems to me like that's like a part of our heart, downtown area. So I don't get that part. So I'm not going to approve it, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay.
I would like to have you look at available properties before I feel comfortable approving this. Like Commissioner O'Rourke, that's the center spot of town, very desirable, but it also has been there for long enough that people recognize it, and you have done a nice job utilizing some of that space. And yeah, if we don't need the money, the idea is just to bring a business in to fill up another slot? Is that the general?
My whole goal is to redevelop downtown in the CRA. And in my opinion, it is not the highest and best use being an office building on Park Avenue. So you certainly, can also explore the option of leasing instead of selling if you want to keep the building. And I'm not discounting your views on that, but just my opinion is it's not the highest and best use the way is acting right now. But it's up to the board kind of decide what direction we go. We can certainly keep it as is as well, so.
Mayor, I'm sorry, John, you finished?
No, please go ahead.
Board Member.
First, I thank you. First, I want to say that one of the other big assets involved with that building is you. I am so excited that you are part of our CRA, that you are the executive director there. So, and I think I just took your job away.
Yeah.
But Allison, I think you get the vision of the downtown. But if we're looking to do, for example, things that are on the agenda tonight, such as discuss Burt Bostrom Park. Those things, to me, that's higher on the list right now than this. And I'm not sure why we don't look at those things. That's a much bigger project that will have a significant impact on our recreational program. I think it's probably a great idea that you suggested that recreation move down to the park. That may be a better place. Or, as part of the Burt Bostrom thing, maybe there's a place over there for them over in Burt Bostrom. It just seems like this is a little bit premature for our discussion.
You know how I feel about recreation. I'm not even going to make any arguments with you there.
So,
I would say, it sounds like from what they're saying is, as Board Member Linda says, if you can find somewhere that's 100% secure first, that we could either, and it sounds like you're saying buy before rent, or
Yeah,
just
it's absolutely buy before rent.
buy before rent. And if you find something there, then we can revisit this conversation. But however, it sounds like based on Board Member O'Rourke, he feels that is a good asset. I know you're saying highest and best use. That's a verbiage that in my office, we speak to that all the time on the commercial side. But let's see what you can come up with in terms of possible relocations first before we commit to saying, okay, let's execute forward to sell.
Great.
Or Vice Mayor,
When you-
Vice Board Member.
When we're relocation, can we kind of, I mean, just myself, I would like to kind of know, will there be a tax burden for the residents? Like, if we can try not to
I wouldn't be in the CRA.
right,
No.
What wouldn't be in the
if
CRA?
we
Tax
relocate it.
burden.
Oh, no, yes,
That won't be
no.
not in the CRA.
Make sure that's clear.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
thank
No,
you.
I can tell you that right now. No.
All
You're
right.
talking my job now.
Well, I thank you for all of your comments. This is the direction that we were looking for, so appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay. Next, and thank you, gentlemen. Next, we have a presentation for the Zero Empty Spaces program.
Yes. So I'm going to introduce Evan Snow. I thank you, Evan, for coming up tonight. I'm going to have Evan talk a little bit about what they do as a company, just so you are aware. They are, I've spoken with Evan a few times. We're in communications about, again, they fill empty spaces, they fill vacant spaces temporarily while leases are trying to be negotiated. And they're potentially looking for a home in Lake Park. So I wanted them to introduce himself and tell you a little bit about what they do, and just let you know that we're working with them. So, Evan?
But thank you. Thank you guys for your time. My name is Evan Snow. I'm a very passionate arts advocate, community builder, and placemaker that, amongst other initiatives, started this platform, you can play it, called Zero Empty Spaces, to activate vacant commercial real estate spaces to create affordable working artist studios so artists have space to create and collaborate affordably outside their homes. I've seen the power of art to transform communities from my time in Wynwood and in Flagler Village, Fat Village in Fort Lauderdale, and we wanted to come up with an initiative that would be a win-win-win. So to make it super easy for everybody, we serve as one point of contact with property owners, one point of contact with the artists. We assume all liability for the space. We negotiate significantly discounted rental agreements, lease or licenses, generally at $0 bases. We provide our own insurance. We take care of utilities, signage, permitting, branding, build out, these videos, press, Matterports, and all the things involved. We take large spaces, we subdivide them into smaller spaces, and then we rent them out to artists affordably in line with nonprofit rates, though we are a for-purpose, for-profit entity operating as a public benefit corporation type of model. And once the spaces are open and active, then they serve as thriving creative placemaking hubs for classes, workshops, nonprofit fundraisers, collaborations and potlucks and things beyond our wildest dreams. Since we started on Las Olas, and you could do the presentation. Since we started on Las Olas in 2019 in a space that was vacant for 3 years that we helped get leased in 3 months, we've since opened 33 of these spaces across 4 states. We've had about 750 artists come through the program, and it truly has changed hundreds of artists' lives, thousands of times over. This opportunity and conversation with Allison came about because we have had a space in Legacy Place in Palm Beach Gardens off of PGA Boulevard that we went into early in the pandemic in 2020 when there was not much leasing activity at all there. It's a former Woodhouse Day Spa, very tough to lease. There's not many spas that are opening, obviously during the pandemic. And we've been there for 5 years. It's probably been one of our most successful spaces. It's served a lot of benefits. It's helped generate significant public positive press coverage for the center, for the city. The city now has art exhibits in Town Hall as a result of coming to the space, meeting artists, and seeing the benefits of art. But now that we've been there for over 5 years, when there wasn't much leasing activity or anything really positive coming out of that plaza, although it's a beautiful plaza, they do have new leasing activity. And since we operate on a month-to-month lease basis, there's an LOI signed. So I did some outreach to Palm Beach County stakeholders, and Allison and the CRA was kind enough to take interest and see about helping us find a home. The home that we initially thought and think could be a potential fit, I'm sure you guys would like to see activated at the former Kelsey Theater space, which would obviously serve a great purpose for it to continue on as an art space. We understand there's some challenges there, so we're evaluating other properties. And now that we've been doing this for 6 years and we want to establish permanence, we're looking to sign a long-term lease with a local owner developer. And we also established a 501c3 nonprofit called Spaces of Possibility, with the goal, ideally, of establishing permanent spaces, either via property donation, should you have a owner or developer that doesn't want to maintain their property or pay property taxes on it anymore, we can give them a tax-deductible donation receipt, put their name on the building, have it be a permanent dedicated art space, or as we start raising philanthropic dollars and grants, we're going to look to acquire property and work to establish affordable live-work spaces for artists. Through the nonprofit, but that's going to take some time, understandably. But should you have a developer or owner that wants to offload property, just putting it out there, in the universe on record. But we're glad to do this work, and we know there's a lot of artists here. We have 21 artists in our Palm Beach Gardens location that are going to be looking for a new home. We would also look to make space available for the artists here in Lake Park. And we're glad to do it. We're glad to help anybody that, property owners, the artists. It's been a great win-win-win, and glad to answer any questions.
Thank you for your presentation. I will open the floor to questions. Actually, I'm going to go and start on this side, if that's okay. You have nothing, Commissioner Rourke? Okay. Board Member Linden.
Hi, thank you. I'm very familiar with open spaces, and it drives traffic, no doubt about it. The one in Legacy Place we visit regularly, and it's not unusual to grab something to eat while we're there. The signage needs a lot to be desired, but for artists, I think it's great because I don't know the cost breakdown, what they pay and so forth. I never really got into it, but if it's affordable, it would light up part of our downtown district. Just in word of mouth, that people know what it is. You had mentioned the Kelsey Theater. Have you been in talks with him personally?
I went toward it. I've been there before when it was activated. We did connect with the building department. We understand that for ADA compliance might be a requirement for a lift or an elevator if we plan to use the second floor and have it be open to the public. So we're considering options there to help activate the entire space to make the best use of it, to make the math work for us, because it is going to be, even if we got it significantly discounted and we sign a long-term lease, which we're planning to do, to have it be a relative permanent space, it's still obviously major financial commitment on our part, so we just want to make sure. But we are in touch with the building department and trying to work through that.
The owner is an artist himself, high-end pieces, naturally. And I'm thinking, what an ideal location, because all the parking you'd possibly need would be right there. it would boost all the businesses on that lower corner. Again, and we have some artists here in Lake Park, some artistic kids that do great work. And so I could see this being a boom if indeed we could get the location. I'm not sure of the 801 building. It's got space down on the first floor, but if memory serves me correctly, it was very expensive per square foot. I don't know if that's negotiable or not, but you carry a nice legacy with what you're doing so forth, so it may be negotiable, but I would welcome it with open arms. I've seen what it did or what its potential to do, so thank you.
Thank you.
Vice Chair.
Thank you for the presentation. I like to see, the presentation and about the business. Although I do know about empty spaces because my father-in-law is a retired artist. So I think Commissioner Linda sold it up best. It would drive traffic from not only Lake Park, from different areas. I go to a lot of them just to visit, see the art. I know that it's costly. I can't afford it, but I think it's a great idea and a great business. I encourage you to continue to look and talk to Kelsey Theater and see if that deal can be worked out. I think this will be a great thing for Lake Park and you guys to get together. And thank you for always helping out and looking forward to nonprofit organizations.
Thank you. And the thought, I guess, with coming to share is just to keep it on your radar for us to be a tool in the toolkit. We work with new mixed-use developers on their ground floor retail that oftentimes sits vacant for long periods of time. We had a very good success story at the Mid in Lake Worth off of Dixie, where we were the first tenant that went in there when it was done with construction, and they infilled around us, which oftentimes can take years or longer than desired. And then we were the last tenant to leave while still providing that amenity to the community, to the tenants, to the residents, so on and so forth. So I know there's some other mixed-use development projects in your pipeline. If there is that ground floor requirement, and if it might sit longer than desired, vacant, not doing anybody any good, we're working with developers proactively to go in, not as placemaking as an afterthought, but to go in from day one, to have the lights on, which does help with the walkability, driving the traffic, the positive press coverage, so, collaborations with neighboring tenants, so on and so forth. And additionally, we also work in office buildings as well. I know it's not exactly, we're in the Boca Raton Innovation Campus, the former IBM headquarters with CP Group. That's the biggest office campus in the state, but it does help from a leasing perspective. If a prospective tenant's looking at two properties, both of them have a cafe and a gym. This one has a cafe, gym, and an art space where their employees can get classes. We have a wellness in the workplace program to reduce stress and burnout, increase creativity, and a lot of other benefits that come with art. So feel free to use us and leverage us with your developers as they're coming to maybe enhance their projects. And we also, the last one that you guys might appreciate, we just authored an article on LinkedIn that we're going to turn into a white paper about how activating vacant space, even if for temporary use, reduces excess insurance premiums that property owners are subject to as their properties are subject to increased maintenance and vandalism. So while we generally are a $0 month-to-month lease tenant on the temporary model, we're saving property owners and developers money on the insurance, taking utilities off their P&L, gaining positive press oftentimes where there is no press story. We do our own press, and we don't require funding or TI from them to do that. We'll do all this work ourselves, and we charge the artist nominal rents. It's $2.50 a square foot that it starts at, water, electric included, no commission. Artists on average pay $250 a month, 24-hour access. And here in Palm Beach County, where we've had the most success stories with these nonprofit collaborations, we truly have changed hundreds of artists' lives thousands of times over, and we know there's a lot more artists here. We have a waiting list, so just at least wanted to, per Allison, put this out onto your, universe, so now that you're a little bit more aware, should it come up in a conversation, developers often ask, what can the city or the CRA do for me? We've helped developers and property owners tap into facade improvement grants that are only available if the if the property is activated. If the property is vacant, in certain municipalities, they're not able to tap into it. So just wanted to raise awareness about win-win-win scenarios like that while we do all of the work and create all of the good.
One question I have, I know you said that you have stuff that you've done in Legacy Place and you deal primarily with artists. Do you guys work with existing, like for instance, Legacy Place, we'll use that for example, they also have tenant spaces that are already filled, and of course you're filling in the zero spaces, but do your artists work with those that are already existing there to incorporate with this zero space?
So we do a lot of collaborations with neighboring tenants. A lot of times that we are in malls, so we'll do like back to school campaigns. We'll have the artists will paint the A-frame signs or signage or chalkboards for the neighboring tenants. We do sip and paint events for the neighboring tenants. The spaces serve as event spaces and thriving creative placemaking hubs for other businesses. Credit unions want to do member appreciation events and so on and so forth to invite their customers in. So we're big on creating the win-win-win. And then with the wellness in the workplace, while we started it in our office spaces, we do offer it to our retail neighbors as well to help their retail employees reduce stress and burnout, increase creativity. So, and this is just what we've been doing for the last 6 years. For the record, should you ever have empty kitchens, restaurant space with functioning kitchen, we're working on commissary kitchens for food truck chefs, caterers, cottage-based businesses. We're also working on other interesting uses and activations should the zoning allow for it. Maker spaces, mixology spaces with for academies for hospitality workers that'll serve in the daytime, and the nighttime could be rotated branded bar pop-ups, which are going around the country right now that we're working on an interesting partnership with to have a pipeline of hospitality workers. So our goal in closing is to change the way that people view and interact with space. And with the nonprofit and eventually acquiring permanent spaces, we're planning to, we know there's obviously a ton of money here in Palm Beach County. Once we start connecting with some philanthropic donors, we're going to, look to establish permanent homes here, not just the temporary ones, but glad to do the temporary ones in the meantime as well.
All right, well, thank you for that, and thank you again for your presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Allison. Next, we have public comment. I have 2 public comment cards, but I believe these are for our regular commission meeting, so I will hold on to these. I would say that correctly, right? Okay. Following that, we have the consent agenda. Can I entertain a motion for consent?
Motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Consent passes unanimously. Next, we have under new business, request for qualifications, RFQ selection, design consultant recommendations for Burt Bostrom Park Master Plan. Ms. Justice, you may begin.
Thank you again. On March 6th, the town and CRA issued a request for qualifications for a design team for the master plan for Burt Bostrom Park. The idea of this is to get a team that can work from the conceptual to work with the community, including all of the public outreach that's going to be required for this, through construction documents of when we get to the point where we're hopefully building a community center and whatever other amenities that the community is interested in within Burt Bostrom Park. So we were asking for teams of not just architects, engineers, landscape architects, companies that have experience designing parks, as well as community centers or other public buildings. So with that, we had 7 responses. We had a selection committee consisted of 5 staff members, and after we reviewed, the evaluation committee reviewed all the qualification packages. The top-ranked firm was Wanamaker Jensen Architects, and with that, we are recommending to the board to accept the qualifications, accept the rankings, and advise to start negotiating with the top-ranked firm.
Okay, do we have any questions for Allison? Board Member Linden.
I'm trying to find the qualifications. There was 5 of them, if I remember correctly. Here it is here, I think. And I'm not sure where your suggestion came in, 1 and 2, if I remember reading, was within a few points, but there was no negotiation with the first one that qualified.
No. This is just accepting the rankings. We would begin negotiations with the top-ranked firm.
And then you
Per your
would,
discussions.
you would come
And
back
then we
to
would
us.
come back with that, with the results of that. If we could not reach an agreement with the top-ranked firm, we would move to the second.
All right, what I was looking for was the cost. I got the points, 470, 468, 2 points either way doesn't mean a whole lot. But that's, okay.
Yeah, and since this was a request for qualifications and it's a CCNA, there are no prices attached to this. This is
All
just
right.
qualifications.
All right. And, okay, that's all right. It's a moot point. Go ahead.
All set?
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor,
Uh,
just to go to
Executive Director.
sorry, just to go to the commissioner's question, and if I could, with regards to RFQs, of course, it's not based on price, based on qualifications and experience. The reason why we bring forward multiple options or a recommendation is that if for whatever reason we can't come to terms with the first option,
We select
with the
the-
contract, which will include a price as well, then we'll come back to you for, to go to the second recommendation and then the third after.
And then in some cases, if we see somewhat of the second or the third seems more feasible, we would make a recommendation. that
You could pick
Correct.
2 and 3 now if you
So
want.
if, right, correct. So if you thought the second or third, you felt more confident with those, this would be that part of the meeting where you would make that decision.
All right, because as I read through this, phase 2, initial funding, we talk of $500,000, all right? And as I read through what we want them to do for us, I'm questioning a number of those areas, but we need to move forward with Bert Bergstrom without a doubt, okay? So, all right. I'm done.
And then also during the contract, we'll have a scope that will be included, so you'll be able to review what the scope is that they're going to be working on at that time before you approve the actual contract with the firm.
All right. Well, what bothered me here is there's talk in there of a recreational building. And while we would probably all like to see a recreational building, there was also a swimming pool segment that was in there. I didn't see it in here. If I did, I apologize. But it wasn't so much the building, it was the $500,000 a year to operate it.
Correct.
that bothers me. So if that's a huge piece of their proposal, it's kind of troubling because they spend a lot of time, money, and effort, and I'm not sure if we have the budget even moving forward to subsidize $500,000 just to run that building.
Yeah, you are correct. I mean, you are correct that there is first a substantial capital investment that we understand that, that we're going to have to look for funding methods, and that's clearly outlined in the request for qualifications, which is why we broke it in phases. So phase 1 is the master plan of what's going to be in the park with the significant public engagement. That's really what we want to get to at first, so then we can understand what elements are we looking at, and how do we fund that. One of the reasons I will tell you that this firm ended up being the top-ranked firm is there were a couple of firms that offered people that have operational park experience that will help us outline operational costs as they design this. So that was really important to us that we had a firm that understood not just what it was going to cost to build it, but what it's going to cost to maintain and operate it based on the community desires.
Thank you.
Vice Chair?
Richard's dying to talk.
Oh, okay. Director.
And again, I think operational costs, we hear a number because it's a new facility, but a lot of our staff will actually be moving over to that facility to help operate it and maintain it. So that cost won't actually be at that top end. It'll be a lot of our current costs already that we're paying. So maybe Parks and Rec won't be down at Kelsey Park. But they'll be there, and they'll be the ones, maybe that's a location for, some other opportunities for us. But our current staff will be there to support and reduce some of that operational cost that you're
Why did you look
hearing.
at her when you made that statement?
She's in my office.
Okay, thank you. All set, sir.
All done, thank you.
Vice Chair? No comment? Okay, I have no comment as well. So at this point,
Do we need a vote here?
What about Board Member O'Rourke?
he actually said he didn't have anything to say. What would you like?
No, I'm ready to make a motion to
Oh,
approve.
I'm sorry.
Well,
I'm
then
sorry.
I will leave the motion to you.
Motion to approve.
Second?
Second?
Any other further discussion?
Third.
All in favor? Aye. All opposed? The motion passes.
Mayor, I apologize. I just want to let you know that the team from Wanamaker Jensen is here with their subconsultants.
Oh, let's hear from
Well, let's
them.
hear from them.
So
Please come up
if you
and
would like
introduce
to
yourselves.
Introduce yourself.
Oh, you should have said that. It would have gave us
Oh,
a chance to let us hear from them.
apologize.
All right, we're taking
I
back
want
our
to take my
votes now.
questions back now.
Mr. Mayor, now is the time we can say, keep the costs low.
Yes.
There you go.
I think you heard what he said. And actually, I opened the door for you guys, so that should count as something.
So darts at me now. So, Mr. Chairman and agency members of the CRA, my name is Steve Boroff, and I'm principal with Wanamaker Jensen Architects. And on behalf of Wanamaker Jensen Architects, we're really excited and appreciative that you've selected us to do this really exciting project. This project has a lot of potential. Parks are really an important part of our culture, and they offer residents an opportunity to come together as a family and community. So this is a special project for everybody, and this will bring the community together. You may have had an opportunity to visit and utilize some of our parks that we're involved with. We're currently involved in the redevelopment of Curry Park in downtown West Palm Beach. So that's a major project along the waterfront. Werner Saravia, who will be the project architect on this project, is currently providing construction administration services for Gaines Park Community Center and the Tennis Center, which are two new structures down on that park in the community of West Palm Beach. You may have had a chance to visit or use the Town of Palm Beach Rec Center at some point in time. We were the architects on that. That opened about 4 or 5 years ago, and we received design awards for that particular project. You've also probably had a chance to visit the Waterfront Commons Park in downtown West Palm Beach, where they have the boat show. They used to have Sunfest there. We were the architects on the Waterfront Commons and all the development along the lakefront there.
I see it every day. That's where I work.
Good.
Yep,
That's good.
downtown.
Yes.
Yep.
So we visited the site, and again, we see great potential in creating the CRA's vision for this park, and we look forward to moving forward with the master planning process. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
More of a comment for me. I am extremely looking forward to this. As these gentlemen know, this is a big proponent for me. This is a big part of the reason why I became a public servant, is to get this going. Him especially knows how I'm greatly feeling. And in fact, Saturday I took a trip to the city of Palm Beach Gardens, where they had their grand opening of their community center.
Right.
And I got to visit there, very eye-opening. If you haven't been there, please go. But I am extremely excited for this journey, and I'm looking forward to heavily community engagement, and I will
Yes, we
go
are
out
too.
there and preach to the community to come out for this one, and I look forward to seeing how this materializes.
Well, our intent is to have fun with this project.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's all about fun.
It is.
Absolutely.
So It'll be a fun process.
Gentlemen,
No,
Commissioner.
I'm good.
All right.
Oh, I have fun and costs, okay?
Yes, oh, yeah.
I'll forget that part,
Yeah,
okay?
costs.
Yeah, that usually comes into play, so.
We'll do a gesture cost.
Commissioner Roy, to my comment.
Yeah.
You said that the park has a lot of potential. Well, that's kind of an understatement
Oh,
for
yes.
us. You have to understand that this park is, again, this is part of the history of this town.
Yeah.
It's named after one of our town residents who was very much involved in our community
Right.
and our youth in our community. So
Absolutely.
part of that is to honor her, and
It's Bertha, not Bert, but that's her nickname.
that's her nickname, yeah. Yes, that's why they call it Bert.
Yes.
That's her nickname. But, and I have a bunch of great ideas, so when we get to that point, I'll talk to you about that. all right?
Good, we look forward
Yeah,
to
if you
hearing your
didn't know,
thoughts.
there's a good majority of us that's worked with the youth on this dais. From
You know, just on that note, you know, so you understand, and I know all of all of these guys here. I'm not. She's a teacher, so I'm sure she's been involved in that too. It's something that brings communities together and helps the community grow, and that's really the most important aspect of redoing this park, because you have people that may not know each other, and then you create these sports programs for the youth,
Oh, yeah.
and they say, hey, I can't bring my kid there. Well, I'll watch your kid.
Oh, yeah.
And then you start into that, and the community grows from that process. And
absolutely.
we've all been through it, so we
Yes,
all
we
know.
have.
So.
Yep.
Practically
Anyway,
my
we're
children
looking
were
forward to it.
raised
Thank you.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have Resolution 290625, Facade and Exterior Improvement Grant for Miss Julie Tatch on 826 Park Avenue for $50,000.
Yes, this is a facade grant for, it's the Saigon Market space along Park Avenue. Julie, the store was still open, so she couldn't be here this evening. She, sends her regrets that she couldn't be here. But I want to walk through a little bit of what she's planning to do and what she's already done with the building. Again, this is the property that is at 826 Park Avenue. It includes the beverage store, Saigon Market. There's a new restaurant called the Purple Lizard that's getting ready to open, and Lake Park Bakery that's all in this space. So there's 4 businesses within this space. This is a picture of the current facade, or this isn't the current, this was the previous facade. So she has already done some, she added some stucco work onto the outside of the building, painted it. And the plans for this $50,000 is to replace all of the storefronts. So all of the windows and storefronts with impact glass. Currently, you can see they have the shutters there. This would remove the shutters from the front of the building. I've spoken with Julie a lot about what else. She also has plans to complete the parking lot. That will be, she's got quotes for it, but that's separate. And then obviously she's already done some painting. She's getting new signage. I have requested that she also improve the lighting on the facade, to add some decorative lighting. She's been having some trouble getting the workers, I guess, to the contractor out to actually give her some quotes for the lighting. So I'll keep talking to her about the lighting. She has lights on it. I just think they could be more decorative and look a little better on the facade. But the estimated total cost of the windows and storefronts is $108,000 and some change. For this, on our facade grant, we only allow up to 50% for doors and windows. The grant is $50,000 anyway, so we are suggesting a grant of $50,000. And this does take into consideration her previous completed stucco repairs, the painting, her paving and resealing that she's going to again, she's going to do, but not right now, and then lighting is a future project. And that's all I have for this. If you have questions.
Well, I just have a comment. I know Miss Julie, and she takes great pride in her ownership of her property. She's one of our lifers here. For those that remember, she also owned the Pho restaurant, which was right next door to her Oriental Market. And in speaking with her, she is very invested here in the town. And as you can see, she's already done her due diligence to get her building up to modern status. And I will greatly support her in this. And the only question I had was, the entire building is obviously not hers. Was there any considerations to be uniformed with the other property owners, or no?
I've reached out to the other property owners. They have not been interested, and I've offered the grants and tried to encourage some renovations on their buildings. I have not
Yeah, it's a
gotten any.
shame, because in situations like this would be where a partnership could be arisen from this. And
Right.
like you said, you got one person that's doing their due diligence. It'd be good for the other partners to say, hey, how about we all get into this together? And,
Yes, would be.
you know.
That brings up stories about shared parking and
Yeah.
neighbors who don't work together, and it creates problems. We've had those issues before. It would be great if there was an agreement between all parties to work toward that, but
Well said.
those are not always easy issues to resolve.
All set?
Good.
All right.
I'm good with this, so.
This is a forgivable grant?
Yes, it
What
is.
kind of guarantee do we have?
We have a personal guarantees. So for this, she is the property owner, so we will hold a mortgage on it as well. There's a restrictive covenant that said she cannot sell within 2 years, and then it's forgivable after 2 years. So there's a mortgage as well as a personal guarantee on it.
Thank you.
Vice Chair.
I guess my question will be, I know Julie, I met her, is what would be the deadline of her finishing the work? Because I remember, if I recall, and I was going to say this in my comments,
Yep.
we gave a grant to another store owner.
Yes.
And I'm just, between the commission and the CRA, the 10th Park, we can't be under construction for the majority of my life.
I know, I understand.
Get what I'm saying?
So they have a requirement within the grant agreement to begin within 6 months, to have a permit within 6 months. So just to let you know, the other property that we've given a grant is coming up on 6 months. They have submitted a site plan, but we had comments, so hopefully they're reviewing and getting going on that. And they have to have it complete, I believe, within 180 days after that. So there are timelines placed in the grant agreement for this.
Kill two birds in one
Understand.
stone. Thank you.
Very well said. Okay, if there are no other questions, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve Resolution 290625 to award Vascada Exterior Grant to Ms. Julie Tachi to support and improve at 826 Park Avenue in the amount of $50,000.
Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, resolution passes. Next, we have Resolution 300625, Commercial Interior Build-Out Grant for Mr. Hugo Centeno for Hugo's Gourmet Catering, Inc. at 706 Unit, I believe that's Unit AB? Or
Yes, the units are A and B.
AB, 10th Street for $50,000. Ms.
Yes.
Justice.
I'll walk through this, but first I'd like to let you know that Hugo is here tonight. So we've been working very close with Hugo on not only this, he participated in our holiday event, also the Rust Market. So ever since Hugo signed the lease, he's been very involved in the town of Lake Park and wants to continue. So this is the property, which is 796 10th Street. You all know it well. It is currently under facade construction with Liberty Square right now. This is the building on the corner. This was the space that was currently occupied by Brooklyn Cupcake, which I kind of outlined in the background a little bit on the history of the grant that was given to Brooklyn Cupcake that was not utilized for a similar grant. Hugo's business, by the way, is a catering operation. He's run a catering operation for many years. He's moving his locations and expanding. He's also going to include a fast casual restaurant in the front, more like a kind of a Chipotle burrito bowl, a little more grab and go with a few seats in it. So in that front space, if you've been in those two spaces, they're separated by a door. So. The space does have a grease trap and it had some baking equipment, but it does not have a hood or cooking system. So obviously, Hugo needs the whole meal deal for his catering operation. So included in the, oh wait, this is Julie's again. Laura left. That's all right. Unless I messed up, I might have messed up this because I actually got the, oh yeah, here we go. That was me, sorry. So this is the space. This is kind of his proposed site plan and layout with the catering operation in the back and the restaurant in the front. You see a little bit better picture here. To the right is the front that faces 10th Street. Well, I guess I don't have the slide on that, but anyway, he had I had the outline of the cost, so let me just tell them to you because I messed him here. The total cost.
Do you have a copy of it there?
I have a copy. It's in the agenda request form. I just don't have the presentation right. Total cost, estimated cost is $75,474. This includes a hood system, fire suppression, plumbing, interior upgrades to install those. And the current program offers 80% of improvements. This is an interior build-out that we offer just for restaurants, breweries, and distilleries. 80% would be $60,379, but the grant is capped at $50,000. So we're recommending the total grant amount of $50,000. And again, he has owned his catering business for 26 years and operates in Riviera Beach.
Okay. Thank you for that. I don't know if Mr. Hugo, if you'd like to come up and speak for a moment. I actually met you recently, and we had good dialogue, so please.
Yes. Thank you for having me here. I really appreciate it. And I just want to tell you that I know that a lot of restaurants, the failure percentage of restaurants is super high, right? 50%. I have been in business for 27 years now, running my catering business. But I started this since I was 18 years old. I don't know how to do anything else. I can't even change a light bulb. This is all I know. I know how to cook. I know how to entertain. I know how to please my customers. And my son, who's 23 years old, he grew up in this business, and even though he's going to school and doing other things, he's still very involved. So is my wife. So this is a family-run business, where we are very passionate about all we do, and we work crazy hours, 80 hours a week easy, and so this is a really big chance for us to actually have something where people can walk into. And we're going to have really two businesses in one, right? The catering business still continues, through its reputation of the last 26 years, and now something new and exciting that we're going to do in the front for people to walk in, from 6 days a week. That we're going to be open 11 to 7, and we're also going to be working with the bar next door with Karma Brewery. I already talked to them about having. Need to let me know what their busy nights are, so we can have a bar menu people can have, in their bar or, their art menu and order from there, and so we're trying to work with them so that we can both benefit from this. Any questions you have?
Okay. Well, we already know you're doing a business engagement, so that's good to hear. I will start on my right with Board Member O'Rourke.
You answered what I was thinking about. I was concerned about Coastal Karma, and I know they have a tough time making it now because the downtown area is not really alive very well right now. But that's a perfect pairing. We had discussed that many years ago, trying to get a restaurant into that area And I understand you're not a restaurant. That's actually probably better for coastal Carmel because you can grab the food and go back
Correct.
into the a very fun, entertaining place. So we're looking forward to having you there.
So are we. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Board Member Linden?
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have a question to the director more so than you, but that's okay. You're going to rent the business. You don't own the building. And the last tenant prior to you, we approved a large amount of money, and the work never got done. And I was trying to go back to find out, excuse me, which safeguards we had in place to retain or get our money back. So like the previous question, little different since he rents it, what guarantees our money?
It is. We have a personal guarantee on it from Hugo himself. This has been discussed with Tom and Brett a little bit because he doesn't own the building. We don't have the mortgage security. So the personal guarantee, it is the same, that they have to stay for 2 years or it be paid back. So there's a restrictive covenant on it that says you can't leave for 2 years. If you do, there's a personal guarantee that you're going to pay the $50,000 back. So that's the security that we have on tenants currently.
All right, that concerns me a little bit. First of all, I'm looking forward to coming over there and eating. You've got a great reputation, and I like to eat. But anyhow, if 6 months from now something happens, the owner of the building retains all this for free. Why is he not included in some part of the guarantee? That for the $50,000?
We certainly can explore that for grants, and I think I've mentioned before at these meetings that I do prefer the property owner to be involved. That is how we secured, again, after Brooklyn Cupcake left, he assumed that responsibility for them. So it is, you're right, it is a property owner improvement at the end of the day that he gets the improvement of it, but because Hugo has to have his specifications, we do it directly with the tenant. Carlo, the owner of the building, does have to sign off on it. He has to sign off on the grant agreement, but we currently don't have any agreement in place with him as far as, we already have a mortgage because he's got a grant with us already, so he already can't leave for, I guess, for a period of time.
Well, like Commissioner O'Rourke, I think a restaurant there is going to be phenomenal. A little slow at first, but it'll grow up, and Coastal Carmel can really use one and enhance their business. But I have to look at it from a fiduciary side from the town, and while personal guarantee is nice, don't get me wrong, that doesn't help the tangible product or equipment that's inside of there.
This has been a risk that we've chosen to assume to attract restaurants, but I agree with you that it is a challenge. We don't have as much security on a tenant, and if we can come up with some ideas that may make you more comfortable, we certainly will look into that.
All right. I'm looking forward to this moving ahead. It's just that I have to look long-term, not 3 months, 6 months, or a year. I want to make sure that we get it done the correct way. So I'd appreciate looking into some of that, but I don't think I want to stop this one while you're looking. But I would appreciate maybe the next time you give us a CRA update on how we have some other options to guarantee some of our money, especially after the Brooklyn Cupcake fiasco, all right?
Will do.
Board Member O'Rourke.
I just wanted what John's bringing up. I want to make a comment on it. And I understand your concerns, John. We've had restaurants that have not just the donut. We have
Right.
The Grumpy Grouper.
Grumpy Grouper also.
Yeah.
and we had nothing there for guarantees.
Correct.
However, this is different in my view because what you're, Allison, what you're proposing here is a grant for hood and, is it a trap or just the hood?
Just the hood and,
Okay.
and the fire suppression and everything that goes with it.
Right.
Sure.
Well, those things that are part of creating an inviting place for a restaurant. So even if he were to, I'm sorry, you know, we do law sometimes and we do the wills, you know, when you talk to people and you kill people off all the time and you say, you know, if they're not around anymore, you know, it's not a good process, but it's part of what you have to do when you think about these things. But even if you're not there, the equipment doesn't go away. So it gives us the opportunity to bring someone else in. So I think that's part of it's not a guarantee, but it's part of the hardware will still be in place, so.
Yeah.
And I think the burden of the dollars still falls on him to pay it back. So
Right.
even when we get the money back, that's the money he'll be using to get the hood and stuff. So
Yeah.
we'll be getting that back, and the hood will still be there as well.
And I agree with that statement as well. And it is a reason that we have to be very careful with business grants. It is a reason that our grants only are for permanent fixtures that improve the property value of the building. Because if the property value obviously is improved, then the CRA sees a value to that. So that's why the grants are what they are on the interior.
Okay, thank you. I have nothing else.
Vice Chair, have anything?
I just want to say, ever since your presentation, I think it was Allison that did a presentation a couple of months ago about the business. I actually enjoyed. I actually looked you up, and me and my family, when you guys was at the Russ Market, we had brunch with you guys, and I got a chance to meet your family, and I understand why you've been in business so long. Any man and any family that can care about each other and work their way are going to do right by our residents, I feel. And you guys are going to do a great job here. I'm just, since the presentation, I am waiting for it to get going, because after these meetings, we have nothing to eat. Nothing to eat here in Lake Park, because Panther.
I just like seeing your son excited, because it sounds like he's going to be a big part of this one.
Absolutely.
All right. Looking forward to that.
We're looking forward to having you guys here in Lake Park.
Hey, one last question. Are you going to be open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or what is your plan?
Well, the takeout restaurant will be open from 11 to 7 on weekdays. Then we're going to work with Brewery Karma to see what their nights, you know, what are their busy nights. Like they told me the other night, it was Wednesday night. Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, so whatever, and on special events, they have special events like once a month.
Yeah.
You know, so the nights will be according to what's going on for them. What are their busy nights? You know.
But I'm going to warn you, by putting food next to them, they're going to have a lot more busy nights.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
you know, be ready for that, and probably on the weekends. too.
Agreed. Agreed. Very much.
Thank you.
What I'm curious, what kind of menu would you offer over there?
Okay, we have, like I said, we have an extensive catering menu that is miles long, but that's for all kinds of events that we do. But the front business, which is going to have its own name, it's going to be called Flavor Mob. So that's pretty much a gourmet burrito place.
Ooh.
You know. We're talking stuff that is not something that you can even get at Chipotle's. It's stuff that is really, really nice stuff, And I'll be presenting the menu to you guys once I finalize it. We have it, but we're toying with the recipes right now. As we're building already, we're already in the process of building. We're already in the process of trying to get everything done, hoping that you guys can help us out with, with the grant, but we're going all out right now in there, and hoping that all the permits and all the inspections get done on time so that we can move forward faster. That's. But the menu is going to be pretty exciting and fun. Fun and tasty. So.
Well, burritos and beer sound like a good combination.
Give us all the secrets, all right? All right. Thank you. I'm sorry. I'm trying to
I
hold
couldn't resist the joke.
I'm sorry. Anything else, Joe?
No, I'm good,
All
thank
right,
you.
with that, I will entertain any motion.
I move to approve Resolution 300625 for
Second.
the
I'll second that.
grant.
Okay, thank you for that, and thank you for the second. Any other, I don't think we need any other further discussion. I think we already, they already pretty much know where we are with this, so all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Resolution passes. Welcome to our community, and we look forward to burritos. And I do have some critics at home that definitely will be coming. So, all right. CRA Administrator report.
Updates. I will be quick. I don't know that he understands how many people he'll probably see from Town Hall for lunch, too, so.
As well as Lake Park Elementary, we got Family Church.
Just an update on some businesses that we've been having discussions with. 801 Park, CRA has been working closely with the leasing agent. As I know that you are all aware, they've kind of, they fluctuate on leasing agents there, so, every once in a while. The gentleman that's the leasing right now, he actually lives in 801 Park. He was at the Sunset Celebration on Friday, so, he's really working towards, thank you guys. He's really working towards getting that space leased. So we've met with a couple of different businesses, both food-related businesses that are looking for spaces in there, as well as a potential outdoor experience in the lawn. But that's hopefully he'll introduce me to them soon. But just to let you know that there is some leasing activity, and they are active in trying to fill those spaces. As you know, Locale Gastropub is closed. I spoke with the property owner today. He wasn't, they were just made aware, so he's going to work with them. They mentioned today that they weren't sure how they were going to move forward, so obviously they're grieving now, so we'll give that a little bit of time, but we will help the property owner also find potential restaurants to put in that space as well. So, Culinary Crossroads, they had a great grand opening weekend this last weekend, so we're excited that they're fully up and running. And speaking of Culinary Crossroads, FRA awards. So the FRA awards are due this week. These are Florida redevelopment. They have categories that they present at the annual conference. They put you in a best book and present you with an award in different categories. And categories go from infrastructure to new buildings to different types. And it's small city, big city. So we qualify under the small city. And we are going to submit this year for Culinary Crossroads under a creative partnership and funding is the category that we're going to apply for. So we're working on that right now, and we'll turn that in. And I'll let you know how that goes. FRA Academy classes, I will be sending a message to all of you. If anybody is interested, the FRA conference is in West Palm Beach this year, October 14th. So I think you've taken all the ones that are at the conference this year, but
Yeah, I think I took two.
yeah, I think that we need to talk about maybe you might have to go elsewhere for your classes now. Sorry. But I'll reach out to the rest of you to see, they don't have registration yet, but I'll be getting confirmation from you all on attendance and if you want to take any classes. It's CRA 101 and budgeting and funding are the two classes that they offer, and you've taken those, I believe.
I've taken those already.
So, I know you're going to discuss positions during the commission meeting, but, we do have a potential offer to make for CRA project or marketing coordinator. We have interviewed several people. We did in April and May. We did make an offer. Unfortunately, the girl did not accept. She was from out of state, so it was going to require a relocation for her, and she chose a different path. She had some other offers on the table, so I guess that's kind of what happens when you got good people. They also have other offers, but we did have some other candidates that we think would be good, and so that's kind of where we are with that position. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Executive Director?
I I just wanted to say, I appreciated the presentation tonight with Zero Empty Spaces. This is something that Allison and I heard about, about a month and a half ago or so? And for this to be a possibility here is really, really exciting. Not only the art component, which I think is cool and, will attract people, but also the artists will be spending money here.
Absolutely.
The people coming to see the artwork will be spending money. There'll be more visibility, within our downtown. And so, to do all this, and on top of it, it gives visibility to the properties that they're in, which right now is not getting maybe the eyes that they were getting. And so, we heard some of this on Monday night, and this is just another way that the town, the CRA, of course, Allison's leading the charge with a lot of it, is really working to kind of, try and grow our downtown and support it, along with the development that's also happening around the downtown. So I appreciate that, Allison. And of course, the position that we'll be talking about, will contribute to supporting and growing and really, really helping to bring attention to our downtown that maybe we really haven't had the chance to have before. So it's really exciting about some of these opportunities as well as the grant. So I appreciate your support of these programs and opportunities for growing the downtown. So thank you.
Thank you. Any board member comments? I'll
I'm
start
good.
my left. You're good? Board member Linden?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Vice Chair? Board member O'Rourke? Okay. I think we're all good here. I don't have any comments as well. So any agency member requests for any future meetings? I'm hearing none. So then I will entertain a motion of adjournment.
Motion adjourned.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We will move forward right to our regular commission meeting, or yes? Okay. This is the Town of Lake Park, Florida regular commission meeting for Wednesday, June 4th, 2025. The time is now 7:57 p.m. Can we have the clerk please take the roll call?
Commissioner Thomas is absent. Commissioner O'Rourke,
Here.
Commissioner Linden,
Here.
Vice Mayor Hensley,
Here.
Mayor Michaud.
Here. We will bypass the Pledge of Allegiance, as we did that earlier in our meeting tonight. Next, we have the approval of the agenda. If you have any modifications or anything you would like to pull from consent, now would be the time to do so. If not, I will entertain a motion of approval.
Our motion to approve?
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion approval passes unanimously. Next, we have a special presentation and report, 2 proclamations. Our first one is for National Gun Violence Awareness Day on June 6, 2025, and our second is for National Marina Day for the Lake Park Harbor Marina for June 15th. And do we have somebody here that will be accepting the proclamation for our National Gun Violence Awareness Day?
Yes, I will.
Okay, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. The Vice Mayor wants me to keep my composure because your last name is Thibodeau, and my favorite basketball team just fired their coach, whose name is Thibodeau as well.
That's right.
So, appointment with the town of Lake Park, and we will begin reading. That is your cousin? All right. With that, this is a 2025 proclamation declaring the first Friday in June to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. Whereas every day 125 people in the United States are killed by gun violence and more than 260 are shot and wounded with an average of more than 19,000 gun homicides every year. And whereas people in the United States are 26 times more likely to die by gun homicide than people in other high-income countries, and whereas Florida has 3,108 gun deaths every year, with a rate of 13.7 deaths per 100,000 people, a crisis that costs the state $40.3 billion each year, of which $87.5 million is paid by taxpayers. Florida has the 33rd highest rate of gun deaths in the U.S., and whereas gun homicides and assaults are concentrated in cities with more than half of all gun homicides in the nation occurring in 42 cities, and whereas cities across the nation, including the town of Lake Park, are working to end the senseless violence with evidence-based solutions, and whereas protecting public safety in the communities they serve is mayor's highest responsibility, and whereas support for the Second Amendment rights of law-abiding citizens goes hand in hand with keeping guns away from those who are a danger to themselves or others. And whereas mayors, council members, and law enforcement officers, in partnership with local violence intervention activists and resources, know their communities best, are most familiar with local criminal activity and how to address it, and are best positioned to understand how to keep their citizens safe. And whereas gun prevention is more important than ever as we see gun violence continue to impact communities across the country, whereas in January 2013, Hidea Pendleton was tragically shot and killed at age 15, and on June 6, to recognize the 28th birthday of Hidea, thank you. Pendleton, born June 2nd, 1997, people across the United States will recognize National Gun Violence Awareness Day and wear orange in tribute to Hidea Pendleton and other victims of gun violence and the loved ones of those victims. And whereas the idea was inspired by a group of Hidea's friends who asked their classmates to commemorate her life by wearing orange, they choose this color because hunters wear orange to announce themselves to other hunters when out in the woods, and orange is a color that symbolizes the value of human life. And whereas anyone can join this campaign by pledging to wear orange on June 6th, the first Friday in June 2025, to help raise awareness about gun violence. And whereas by wearing orange on June 6, 2025, people across the United States will raise awareness about gun violence and honor the lives of gun violence victims and survivors. And whereas we renew our commitment to reduce gun violence and pledge to do all we can to keep firearms out of the hands of people who should not have access to them, and encourage responsible gun ownership to help keep our families and communities safe. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Roger Michaud, Mayor of the Town of Lake Park, declares the first Friday of June 6, 2025, to be National Gun Violence Awareness Day. I encourage all citizens to support their local communities' efforts to prevent the tragic effects of gun violence and to honor and value human lives. Thank you very much. I actually got through that.
Well, we appreciate this honor. The Second Amendment, of course, is something we cherish in this country, but safety is our responsibility as gun owners. So I strongly encourage you not to leave your vehicles, your weapons inside your vehicles, secure them in your safes, and also keep the triggers locked and keep those guns out of the hands of children, because nothing good ever comes from that. It's always a tragedy. So if you would just work with us to protect your constitutional rights, but also to keep the citizens in the town safe. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I believe our next one.
So we do have.
Oh, yes, about the.
Yeah, so Merrill just reminded me that we are going to work together with the town, and we have safety locks for your firearms. We have about 80 of them in stock, and I believe we're going to have them at the front desk at the sheriff's office substation here in the town. So if you would want one or two, feel free to come and get them. We can't give 6 or 8 at a time, but we'd like to distribute them to as many people as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I believe the next one we have is for recognizing Lake Park Harbor Marina on National Marina Day. And we have members of our marina here. Yes, we do. This proclamation is recognizing the Lake Park Harbor Marina on National Marina Day. Whereas marinas are gateways to boating, fishing, and water recreation, providing access to the beauty of and resources of our nation's waterways, and whereas National Marina Day is a celebration of the role marinas play in communities across the country by providing safe, sustainable, and enjoyable access to local waters, and whereas the Lake Park Harbor Marina serves as a vital asset to the community, offering exceptional facilities, outstanding service, and a welcoming environment to residents, visitors, and boating enthusiasts, and whereas the Lake Park Harbor Marina contributes to the economic vitality of the region through tourism, business opportunities, and environmental stewardship, and whereas the staff and management of the Lake Park Harbor Marina are dedicated to maintaining high standards in safety, customer service, and environmental responsibility, and whereas National Marina Day provides an opportunity to honor the contributions of marinas nationwide and to recognize the Lake Park Harbor Marina for its exemplary service and community impact. Now, therefore, I, Roger Michaud, Mayor, on behalf of the town of Lake Park, do hereby proclaim June 15th as National Marina Day in the town of Lake Park and urge our citizens to join in recognizing the Lake Park Harbor Marina for its outstanding service, its role in enhancing the quality of life in our community, and its commitment to preserving and promoting access to our treasured waterways. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank my team. We're there 7 days a week. Friday, Saturday, Sunday are our busiest days. So while other folks are off, we're at the marina. I'd also like to thank the marina patrons, whether it's folks coming by truck and trailer or those who keep their boat with us full time. We thank you. I'd also like to thank the town manager for his outstanding leadership and always having our back. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That is all our proclamations for today. Next, we have public comment. I have 2 public comment cards. One who is not here, but I want to state for the record, his name is Tim Sullivan. He has submitted his public comment card. It's with respects to an action request regarding the proposed development at Tenton Park. I am just putting down the record, and this will be put in our minutes, so if you wish to read it, please do so when the minutes are published. Okay? Outside of that, I also have a public comment card from Mr. Michael Steinhauer. Welcome.
I hope you each have a copy of my written testimony.
We are passing them out as we speak.
It'll come down to 3 minutes and 5 seconds, so you'll know exactly where I am when we're following along. Michael Steinhauer, 435 Greenbrier Drive. Tonight, I want to address an issue that affects the very foundation of how we plan and protect the future of Lake Park, and that is the misuse of waivers and long-standing flaws in our zoning code, particularly in the PAD. At Monday's meeting, the public discussion largely centered around building heights and parking, and you heard resident voices. But we need to address the underlying problem. Our zoning framework has serious shortcomings, and it appears few meaningful steps have been taken to repair them. This isn't just a resident concern. Former planner and now town attorney Thomas Baird has repeatedly raised these issues in formal memos to you. For instance, he clearly has stated that the bucket of units approach averaging 48 units per acre across the district, violates Florida Statute 163.3177, sub 6, sub A, and is inconsistent with the Comprehensive Plan, Objective 12, and related policies. He also warned that waivers allowing building heights up to 16 stories, tied only to structured parking, are built on undefined criteria, leaving the town legally exposed and planning decisions vulnerable to challenge. These are not just small technicalities. They are fundamental breakdowns in how we ensure responsible, community-aligned growth. The consultant report confirms this. It points to vague language, undefined waiver benefits, and a lack of compatibility standards with surrounding neighborhoods. It reinforces what residents and legal counsel have been saying all along. The zoning code needs real reform, not just a mosaic of tweaks reacting to any developer who comes along. So I wonder, why has our zoning department not acted on these issues sooner? Why were Attorney Baird's warnings not followed by corrective action? Why were flawed policies allowed to remain in place while developers made plans based on waivers and loopholes that contradict our own town's vision? We seek major changes to the zoning code, changes that reflect the seriousness of the legal and planning issues now clearly documented. We sincerely hope that our planning department has the leadership to take on this responsibility. Concurrently, given the complexity and the often politically tainted, long-standing nature of these problems, we recommend that this forward-thinking composition of the mayor and the commissioners and our new executive director, the town manager, hire a Kimley Horn or another qualified planning firm to help fix the code, establish clear standards, and ensure that the future development aligns with both the comprehensive plan and Florida law. This is just too important to get wrong. Let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you. And although you did go past a little time, I know you had just a little bit, so it didn't matter. Absolutely. All righty. Next, we have the consent agenda. We have two items on consent. They weren't pulled from our earlier approval. Motion
to accept the consent agenda.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Consent passes. Thank you for that. I have nothing on ordinance on first reading, nothing on ordinance on second reading. However, new business, we have one agenda item. Item number 5, amendment to the FY 2025 Town of Lake Park pay grades, various positions. Town manager.
If I could, if our HR director can possibly come up and assist with this, I'd appreciate it.
Good evening, everybody. Bambi McKibben-Turner, Assistant Town Manager, Human Resources Director. You have before you this evening an agenda item, which is the amendment of the FY 2025 Town Lake Park pay grades concerning various positions, and I'll go through them one by one. As indicated in your agenda request form, on November 20, 2024, the Town Commission approved the revised FY 2025 Town of Lake Park pay grade chart, a copy of which is in your packet, which outlines the minimum and maximum pay amounts for each position within the town. However, the Human Resources Department has identified a need to amend the approved Lake Park pay grade chart due to the need to include 2 new positions that were included within FY 2025 budget, as well as a proposed change in title and responsibilities for an existing position. First, I'll address the Community Redevelopment Project Marketing Coordinator, which Allison alluded to during the CRA board meeting. This is a new full-time position included within the FY 2025 budget, partial funding approved with the expectation of hiring mid-fiscal year. This position, although partially funded within the current year budget, was not included within the approved FY 2025 pay grade chart approved in November 2024. It's important to note that this position was partially funded with the current budget, $30,000, with the expectation that this position would be filled at least halfway through the fiscal year and would maintain the purpose of assisting the CRA-related projects and marketing initiatives to grow the town and the CRA brand, as alluded to during the CRA board meeting. This position is planned to report to the Community Redevelopment Agency, or CRA administrator. Staff conducted a salary survey of similar positions with surrounding local agencies. For example, City of Pompano Beach, City of Boynton Beach, City of Lake Worth Beach, City of Bradenton, City of Sarasota, City of St. Petersburg, Martin County, City of Dunedin, City of Pensacola, to determine the most appropriate pay grade to meet market pay expectations, and that survey is included in your backup. The other position is the information technology intern, which is a temporary part-time position. This is a new position included within the FY 2025 budget. Again, partial funding approved with the expectation of hiring mid-year. This position, although partially funded within the current budget year, was not included within the approved FY 2025 pay grade chart approved in November 2024. It's important to note that this position was funded within the current budget of $22,400 per year, $15 per hour, with the expectation that this position would maintain the purpose of assisting the Chief Information Technology Officer with technology-related projects and supporting our town staff with technology issues to ensure the highest levels of productivity available. This position is planned to report to the Chief Information Technology Officer. The other position is the Purchasing Specialist Accountant, full-time. This reclassified an existing funded position within the Finance Department, which is a position of accounting, to support the actual needs within the organization and the staff to ensure the highest levels of productivity and to centralize our procurement purchasing processes within our Finance Department and ensure proper purchasing in accordance with the town's procurement policy and local, state, and federal law. This position would be responsible for the overall direction, coordination, and operation of the town's purchasing activities, rather than our current practice of having various departments taking on this responsibility and learning and understanding the complex and legal responsibilities associated with this work. It would include the preparation of competitive solicitations, i.e. invitations to bid, ITBs, requests for proposals, RFPs, requests for qualifications, RFQs, etc. Participation in cooperative purchasing groups. This would be to ensure the lowest pricing possible for the town, ensuring fair and consistent bid advertising, documents and posting, managing competitive bid amendments, responding and overseeing bid protests, managing procurement contracts, etc. Additionally, this position is expected to continue to support the Finance Department with meeting needed accounting responsibilities as determined by the Finance Director and or the Assistant Finance Director. This position would report directly to the Assistant Finance Director. The annual salary range or pay grade for this reclassified position will be the same as the approved accountant position. There is no change in this proposed pay grade for this proposed reclassification. It's important to note that this position title is still being developed and finalized to ensure that the town attracts the best possible candidates and meet the needs outlined within the proposed job description, which is being developed by the Human Resource Department and reviewed and approved by the Finance Director of the Town Manager. Staff is in support of these changes, and the recommended motion is to approve the proposed amendment to the FY 2025 Town of Lake Park pay grade chart for various positions.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for staff?
I'm good.
Right?
No questions.
No questions?
I read it.
No questions?
No.
No? No questions?
I read
Guess you have no questions across the board.
Okay.
All right, well, with that, I will entertain a motion.
I move to approve the proposed amendments to fiscal year 2025 Town of Lake Park pay grade chart for various positions.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Any other further discussion? Seeing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The amendment passes.
Thank you.
You make
Thank you.
this so easy. Look at that. Okay. Town attorney comments. And welcome, Brett, as you are substituting in tonight for Mr. Tom Baird.
Thank you, Mayor. No comments other than it's been a minute since I've filled in for Tom, so I'd like to extend my congratulations to Commissioner O'Rourke, who I haven't had the chance to officially introduce myself to, and Commissioner Lindrum, welcome back, as well as I finally got to meet the new town manager face-to-face. We've been on many Zooms and worked together, but just wanted to say congrats, as well as the appointment of vice chair, but no other comments from town attorney.
Okay, thank you for that. Town manager.
Sure. And it's great to meet you too, Brett. Thank you. Real quickly, Congressman Sheila
Sheffilis
McCormick has submitted a $4 million community project funding request for the town on behalf of the town for our septic to sewer conversion project. Of course, this is federal funding. What we're seeing with the budget up in Washington is difficult, but we appreciate her submitting and the chance that funding's available. We appreciate her, again, getting that out. I also appreciate Meryl and her work in getting that, so thank you, Meryl. With regards to the upcoming Juneteenth holiday, the town will be closed on Thursday, June 19th. The marina, though, will be open and operating. As a reminder to the public, the library continues to remain closed until Monday, July 7th. For any information, our folks can go to lakeparkflorida.gov, to our website, and check out what information and what books and resources are available to them while the library is closed. Also, as an announcement and just kind of getting the information going to the public, we have a sunset celebration at the end of this month on Friday, June 27th, starting at 6 to 9:30 in Kelsey Park. It will feature live entertainment as always, and the theme will be our red, white, and blue event. We will have a 25-minute fireworks display that will begin at 9 p.m., and of course, admission and parking are free. For any additional information, members of the public can reach out to our special events department, and you can find the number either online or you can call 840-0160. And then finally, I wanted to find out about some direction or request direction on a proclamation to be placed on the July 2nd, 2025 agenda, recognizing July 2025 is National Parks and Recreation Month. If you're good with that.
I'm good with that.
Absolutely.
And I did want to say thank you to, and thank you, we'll put it, but again, I wasn't able to bring the Marina proclamation to you at one of the last meetings. It came up after I think I outlined it in the weekly update, but I think it was important to bring forward, so thank you all for obliging and accepting that. Appreciate what our Marina folks do. They do a great job, and Jason's a great leader out there, and I appreciate what he does. Also, the sheriff, there's so many improvements, and customer service efforts that are being made, and I think that they have an event where our public can meet with our folks. I forget the day.
June 11th.
Yeah,
June
at
11th
Target.
in the morning.
At Target.
9:30 to 11.
9:30, 11:30.
I should have left it free. Sorry, but I appreciate the captain and his staff and working so hard and really engaging with our community. There was some other recent conversations and efforts in some of our rental communities with our code enforcement staff, and there's just a lot of effort to reach out and provide opportunities of cleanup and providing a safer environment in these locations. And really, that's a lot of leadership to our captain and, of course, our community development director. So I appreciate the changes that are happening in code enforcement as well, so thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, is that it? All right. No, we are good. We are good. Commissioner O'Rourke.
Yes, I don't know if this is like a proclamation request or not, but I just want to bring to the commission's attention, and it would be nice to recognize this woman. Since 1993, Berlinda Law, who, I'm not going to tell you her age, I don't think she would like that, but since 1993, she's been a crossing guard at our elementary school.
Wow.
She has crossed her kids there, her grandkids, and her great-grandkids.
Wow.
And she's on the same corner. I know this because I have my dog, and I walk my dog, and I see her there, and she's the sweetest lady, and she sees them as her kids. She's been a part of our community for a long time now. So I just wanted to mention her name and maybe suggest that I'll give you this information, that her contact information is on here. And when you hear her story, she's really a delightful, wonderful lady. So thank you.
What corner is she?
She's on the corner of 3rd and, what would that be, not Cypress, was not First Erie, G, what is it?
Evergreen?
Evergreen, yeah.
Okay.
G, that's not a G, but.
Excellent.
Oh.
Yeah, she's on Evergreen, right at the corner of the school. She's right there at the school, and she's like the main, the kids just like flock to her. She's awesome. So anyway, thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's
all?
excellent.
That's it.
Commissioner Linden.
Thank you, Mayor. I have two things. One, after Monday's meeting, there was, I got my phone lit up for a little while. Tuesday, people were a little upset that you were considering reducing their time to 2 minutes. They prepared, we had a packed house, and they felt that that was wrong because they may not get heard. So just consider that. I know we were looking at a time constraint. You have the ability to do that.
Yeah.
But there was a number here that if a few spoke out, there was a lot more.
And again, that was just because I had an abundance of cards.
I understand completely.
Yeah,
I'm
but-
just giving you some feedback.
No,
from
no
that.
problem. But there were some that did rescind their public comments, so it made it easier for me to go back to the 3 minutes. So
Okay.
just to explain what the severity was.
So I responded back to some. I said, well, I'll bring it up to them publicly.
Yes, please, and please
Yeah.
let them know they can reach out to me directly, and I'll be happy to explain that as well.
All right, the next item, I don't know if we can vote on this or discuss it or have a presentation on it, but based on our meetings now compared to a year ago, if you would, I would like to propose that we go to 1 a month commission meetings. Where generally, we had CRA today, which dragged us, but I was looking at the clock, and our meeting just went right by.
Correct.
We have smaller agendas that would, I think, do a lot. If we go to 9 or 10 o'clock, we go to 9 or 10 o'clock. But that saves a day for staff that don't have to be here, less things they have to prepare twice a month versus once a month.
Yeah, I would be good with that. And actually, I believe there was some discussions on that previously, I believe.
I don't remember one, but if maybe I
Probably
was off.
before you
Oh.
guys, before you got on. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. And then we could always use the second, what
If-
normally would be the second meeting as like a filler
If needed, sure.
Right, and then also if there's workshops, that can be utilized as well for workshop days as well. So I wouldn't be opposed to that at all, myself, speaking for one.
Is it in the ordinance?
I don't know.
I think it's 1st and 3rd in the ordinance.
Well, that's how, 1st and 3rd of the month is how it reads, but
That was going to be my question as well.
I think it's in the ordinance, so we'd have to address it
So
that
I
way.
think we look at the ordinance first and then give us some clarification.
We can work with the attorney, but we would still have, the meeting would still be defined. We just, like any other meeting, if we didn't have it on that first or third, it would just be a canceled meeting.
Okay.
But the intent is that it would be available, I think.
If we needed it,
always,
yeah.
In case there was a need for it.
Well, at least look at the ordinance as
Absolutely.
Commissioner O'Rourke clarified, and just to make sure our T's and our I's are
Absolutely.
dotted. Thank you for that.
Yep, that's all I got.
All right, Vice Mayor?
I don't have much. I just want to say, if you could, I know the town manager talked about it. I'm talking to the residents. Come out June 11th for the chat with the sheriff department. But we also have a lot of kids that's out of school. Grab a kid in the neighborhood so they can meet and understand the law enforcement and be able to build a communication with them. That'll be great for them to get to know our law enforcement, but I have nothing after that.
Okay, thank you for that. As I said,
And I'm going to add,
Go
it
ahead.
was nice to see Adam, Sergeant Adam.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
He's oh, is he still here? Oh, is that?
No, it's
or
a-
is that
it's
cousin? Is that cousin Captain Thibodeau?
So jealous.
Big shoes to fill back there.
Sorry, Cap.
And I'm sorry about your pretend cousin that was coaching, who's no longer coaching. We're very unhappy in the state of New York. Anything else? Town manager?
I did have, I'm sorry.
Go ahead,
a couple
please,
quick
please.
things.
If you have some more
I
to
wanted
add.
to just make you guys aware that we are applying for a program through the state called FROC. I don't remember what the acronym is, but what it does is it essentially, once we apply and we become approved, it gives us a percentage, a score, and it gives us a percentage of our expenditures following a named storm or a storm that we have to put money out. The state will give us that money almost immediately, where we don't have to provide all of our policies and procedures, and we'll be able to receive that money immediately. And it'll be based on the score that we receive in the application. Our assistant town manager will be providing you with additional information on that.
Okay.
This is a program that's been in place for a number of years. This will be the first year that we apply for it. Our our storm consultant will be working with our assistant to ensure that we're eligible for this funding. And I believe it may be up to almost 60% of our expenditures that we would get almost immediately back, rather than waiting like we're waiting now in some of our other.
Nice.
So it's exciting. It's something that when I first got here, we talked about, and the application period just opened, I think, a couple days ago. So it's exciting to be able to go forward with that.
Mayor.
Vice Mayor?
So we wouldn't have to go through the process of getting the reimbursement, the early email I sent you about? All right.
Yeah, and this won't be available until next storm season.
Next cycle. Okay.
So, but if we don't apply now, then we won't be eligible, and there'll be 2 storm seasons.
Well, it's good that we're being proactive on that despite the delay. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So some of the things that you'll probably be seeing is, revised procurement code and different things like that, because we'll need to meet some of the requirements of this program as well, which is one of the things that our staff's already been working on with regards to amending all of the code provisions within our town code. This is actually the first item, is our procurement policy.
Yeah.
And so that will help us to achieve a higher number of points than where we are now with our current code.
Put it in the consent agenda.
I will, absolutely. As much. And then the second thing that I wanted to bring up real quickly is the improvements that we're making with the hiring process. I know that this is something that was direction given to me when I first was hired. We had a number of positions that were open. We've completely, and not 100% where we want to be, but we've completely changed a lot of the processes that we're doing to attract candidates, be able to hire quickly, and we'll provide you with an update in your weekly update. But Bambi, I'm pretty sure we're not there, but we're pretty close to being almost 100% full.
Wow.
In a lot of positions that have been vacant for years.
Wow.
And so, again, and the good thing is that we've really reduced down our spending on attracting these folks. In fact, since over the last 6 months or 5 months, we've only really spent about $250 total to fill positions. And I'm really, really pleased with that. So I think it's really making a difference, and it allows us to be more productive and be more customer service forward within our community. So again, I appreciate not only just HR, but also our departments, because they have to go through
Absolutely.
the interview process, get that going quickly, and make selections. So really, really pleased with that. And
Oh, well, thank you. Absolutely. Absolutely.
that's what I got.
Again, earlier I mentioned that I visited the new community center at Palm Beach Gardens, and I would encourage you, if you haven't been over there, to go take a look at it. It's it's quite a facility. I believe our coming month's League of Cities will be at that community center. So I'm hoping, in Palm Beach Gardens, I'm hoping that they provide us with a tour. I actually have a former coworker who is now who handles the entire building facilities there, and she's extended an invite to me. So if she does that, I may extend it to my fellow commission members to join me and take a tour of that building, as well as staff if they wish to go as well. So just tells me, right, we need to have something here. As Commissioner O'Rourke said, we've been involved in recreation during our time, and me personally, I've seen a lot of kids from Lake Park go into other communities to recreate and play sporting events, arts, crafts, and I'd like to have something here that says this is our home and our place to do our things, to have the business community be involved with the recreational component, and create a synergy here that stays within our town, and to know that some of these kids, if they compete very heavily, that they'll be proud, and it'll be a legacy for all beyond them. So just want to say that I hope we all move forward in this journey, and hope the community gets involved as well, as their input is much needed for this process. Aside from that, I just want to congratulate actually somebody in my family, my nephew. His name is Preston Augustin. He goes to Dwyer High School. He just received a full scholarship to Virginia Commonwealth University for track and field. He actually is third in the state. He's done a lot of damage in this state, but he's decided to move his talents to Virginia, and he has also a 4.3 GPA. So for a child to have not only great
Pretty impressive. Yeah.
athletic ability, but great smarts, that's a wonderful marriage to have, and a great storm to build a career on. So I wish him luck, and the journey is bright. And with that, that's all I have. Yes, sir.
You just did.
Oh, Vice Mayor said you are out of questions. I'm sorry. Thank you very much. We will entertain.
I just did. I like that.
Go ahead.
Real quickly, while I was at the conference last week, one of our neighboring communities, Palm Beach Gardens, when you were talking about the gardens, it made me think about it. That's why I wanted to bring it up.
Absolutely.
The manager there, Ron Ferris, who's
Yes.
very, very, very well respected as a manager, not only in the state, but in this, in the country, received the Richard Dick Simmons Lifetime Achievement Award.
Oh, wow.
This is kind of like the E. Harris Drew or award that the elected officials receive. It's that prestigious. And what I'd like to do is prepare a letter just congratulating him, And if you guys are okay to all sign it.
Absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
that,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
He's our neighbor, he's always willing to help, and I think it would be really, really great. He's, on the mobility stuff, he's always Johnny on the spot, anything that he's, so I just would appreciate it. So thank
No, absolutely. They were a great partner for us in the policy committees as far as the mobility study is concerned, and I'd be honored, as well as I know my fellow commission members would be as well. So, yes.
We'll do a signature block with everyone on it. So
Very good.
Absolutely.
Great.
Okay. With that, any requests for future agenda items? Nope. Motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Yeah.